Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I'm back. Yeah, it's been hard for me not to put out something by now after a week's went by from my last video, but like I do all the time, I spend time with the Lord and ask and wait as my manner is, and I think as the manner of anyone who follows Jesus or wants to follow Jesus or should follow Jesus should do. So that is my modus operandi. I basically spend time with him when I don't know what I'm going to do, or when I have possible forks in the road, and then he guides me to the right path. He always does. And so, even though I've had since my last one an idea that we're about to transition into something else, I'm about to transition to something else. And I don't know if I'm be done with this or whatever, but I think we might be at the end. But like I've said before, and I'm going to say this very clearly this time again, this is a theory of mine. Okay, this is the next theory of mine about what could happen. And so I want to make that super clear. This is a theory. This is not saying, hey, it's going to be July 17th and we're going to rapture right on this day. I mean, I never agreed with that in any way. In fact, I saw a lot of problems with that. And I didn't point out all the errors and problems with that with the presenters or their presentation or anything like that, because it's not my place. Maybe it is other people's place, but it's not my place. The Lord did not want me to do that to my brothers and sisters. So I just want to make that clear as well. But I think it's, even if I did know the day, I think it's very silly to even say I know the day, because no one will listen to you and they won't take you seriously. So even if I did, or maybe I do know the day. No, I don't know the day, but I'm hoping that this guess or this theory is going to be finally correct. So I'm just going to present you the information, and you decide. Like always, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the future. So I don't know what this is going to turn out to be, but I am telling you, and I'm going to show you the numbers and the matches I'm seeing and the connections I'm seeing, and I've seen for almost a year now. Literally, I started doing this almost a year ago. It was actually August 5th of last year, 2018. And there's so many things I've learned since then about iPad Goat and about a lot of different things and about this whole, excuse me, this whole process. It's been crazy. The other thing I want to do is say I'm mostly healed from being sick about 4 weeks. I literally had something engineered hit me. In fact, I prayed about it several times, and the Lord a couple times said engineered to me. And he said engineered, and another day engineered. And I'm like, okay, Lord. And I end up watching a video on someone I hardly watch ever. I have some issues with their presentation and their monetizing so much and different things like that. I believe that the truth should be free, and I believe if you're going to present the truth, I'm not, saying anything bad about anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying this is my personal belief. If you are going to present the truth, you should do it for free, and you should let the chips fall where they may, and let God bless you in that way. It's just like giving. Like when you give, you shouldn't expect to get back. That's the way I feel. So I'm not going to, poo-poo anybody else, but I'm just saying this person I did not have issues with, but I ended up watching this thing because I felt led to, and he had a guest on, and the guest was saying he was a health expert, and he basically said that things are being engineered in the geoengineering spraying that's going on to cause illness. And I had just heard from the Lord 2 days before, each day engineered from him. And then I watched this, and this guy said engineered, and I could not believe it. And I literally, in my illness, I've had for about 4 weeks a new symptom every few days. I've never even remotely had anything like this. And I would get weak, and then I would get stronger, and then I get weak again, and then I get stronger, then I get weak again. I've never had that in an illness, and it was so bizarre. I can't even say. And I'm probably like 95% right now, energy and everything, but I still have about 30%, 20% hearing loss still in my ear, and it's getting better over time. It was at about 90% hearing loss, I think, if I had to guess. I couldn't hear it out of this ear at all, my left ear. And my throat at times is a little scratchy still, but for the most part, I am thankful. I am in Jesus' arms, and I am so thankful, and that's where I'm going to stay. Listen, things don't always go to plan. I mean, you think about it for a second. I'm just going to give you an example. Look at the apostles. Look at the disciples or whatever, and look at Paul, and look, these people, it didn't go to plan. Most of them were crucified, or, killed. Peter was supposedly crucified upside down. Paul was beheaded. All that stuff. They don't go, just because you're following the truth doesn't mean, you're going to get all these wonderful things all the time. I mean, life throws you all kinds of stuff because it's an evil world. And then Jesus makes the difference for you, even if you don't experience it all the time. I'm just saying that, just for anybody who's wondering what's going on or whatever. I've gotten hit in my life so many times, but Jesus bounces me back. He gives me a rubber butt. I bounce back up. I'm thankful for him. He has saved my life so many times. I can't even count that high. So I'm so thankful. And he is the one that's given me the understanding, any understanding that I've had on the iPad Goat personally. And then I've gotten help from different people, subscribers. I thank you. Anybody else, I give a lot of kudos to J.K. Bugout for starting me on this path and his understandings in the beginning. People like Julian T. There's a few others here and there. I thank you. Like I've said, Bond had Q, and I have S. So S has helped me a lot as well. So I'm just so thankful. So I'm gonna keep moving on here. So I want to make it super clear that what I'm looking for after a lot of things have been opened up in my understanding. I'm looking for 623, 923, and I'm looking for two 623s. In I think it's dates. So that's what I'm looking for, because the Lord gave me two dreams about 623 and 923. If you can see my previous videos, if you want to know what that's about. But so basically here, Lily, the main character here, well, not necessarily the main character, but the character here that's in the center of reference here, she is surrounded by the 12. It's basically the Revelation 12 sign. It's the Virgin, the 12 stars above her head, a moon underneath her feet, down here, clothed in the sun right here, as I've said before. And then these figures she makes up like a slash. This is what I've seen and I've understood. She makes like a slash, and there's 6 figures right here, and then there's 2 back here, and it's really 3 because it makes the 12. But right here, these 2 are connected, so that makes 1, 2, and then these up front are 3. So 6, 2, 3. And then 6, 2, 3 is all over, and I'll show you some more stuff. And so that is the birth, and I've been told and I've been shown several ways how the birth is 623. One of those ways is Barack Obama's birthday last year was on 6/23 on the Chinese lunar calendar. So his birthday on the Gregorian is August 4th. Of course, last year was, or his original birthday was August 4th, 1961. But each year it's August 4th, okay, which is the 216th day of the year, and I'll get into some of that. But anyway, so there's a lot of coordination with 623 and what that means. I've shared how his last birthday was 329 days after the Revelation 12 sign, which is 923 backwards, and he's backwards. There's so much stuff there, and I implore you to watch some of my last few videos, maybe my last 3 or 4 if you can, or any videos before this, to get some kind of context of different things. I encourage you to watch all my videos if you can. Go back as far as you can, at least the last 20 if you can at all, because there's a lot of good information in there, even if it's not date sensitive or whatever. I bring a lot of different things to the table that the Lord showed me. So I'm looking for a beginning of 623, and I believe it's a date for a long time, because we want to know, because this is a timeline. Now, iPad Go 2, again, just real quick, is a timeline. And J.K. Bugout originally pointed that out and showed me some compelling things. I don't mean personally, but people. But then I've also talked to him personally several times. We have some disagreements about things. We see some things biblically very differently, but some things very much the same as well. So, but he showed me some things that were made it super credible that this is something that the Illuminati, or I would call them the Luciferian global elites, that basically through other people and through demons have shown their playbook through iPad Go 2. Okay, and whether you see that or not, it doesn't matter to me. I'm the messenger, and I'm presenting you a message, and you can take it or leave it. Okay, that was my little alarm going off. I already took my vitamins, so I take that every day. So it's important that you realize that this is their playbook, and this is one of the most extensive playbooks about what they've been doing for the last couple of years. Now going on about 3 years now. So it shows 2017, 2018, and 2019 and false flag events in this animation. It's really crazy. But if you really watch it, look at it, look at what we've said about it, what I've said, what JK said, and some of what Julian said. When I say some, I just mean he says a lot of different things. I mean, he's like, he has a shotgun approach and he just throws tons of things out there and hopes something will stick. I'm a little bit more methodical, and I want to show a lot of evidence for things I believe, not only in iPad Go, but things in the world, in media, and all that kind of stuff. And that's my niche. That's what I do that very few people do. So I want to reiterate that this is very credible, okay? It's evil as it can be, but it's very credible as far as a source for their playbook, it being their playbook, okay? It's super. There's over 40, if not over 50, I haven't counted exactly, maybe over 50 different false flag events that have been shown ahead of time. I don't say predicted, because if you are behind everything, it being demons through people and through the elites and everything and through their power structure and their organizations and all their different hierarchies and all that kind of stuff, if you're going to do something ahead, if you're going to show something ahead of time and then carry it out secretively and behind the scenes, that's not predicting anything. You just are fooling people, just like the devil does. He doesn't really do any real prophecy. He doesn't do anything real like God does. He doesn't really predict the future. He just he works behind the scenes to make happen what he's already said he was going to do, and then kind of hides it upside down, backwards, or both, or whatever. So anyway, I'm looking for 623 to begin the apple roll and then to end basically where the apple opens up like a flower, okay? And I'm going to show you why. So this is the beginning here. This is the apple. And I've said this many times, but I'm just going to go over it again. This is the apple falling. And this is, I believe, is a birth. She looks in pain. She's giving birth, just like the Revelation 12 sign. The woman gives birth to the man-child. And this is the evil version of it. But it also has some reference to the man-child that's going to be birthed into heaven, a little bit in there. There's a baby in an egg, and he has praying hands in iPad Goat, and that's the child that's going to be birthed in up through the portal, and it shows a portal after that, and then the Statue of Liberty going dark because of like an EMP or something like that. So anyway, so I'm looking for 623 to begin it, and then the apple to fall and roll, and like I've shown, to the end of the birth of the Antichrist on 623, and him being lightning falling from heaven. Okay, so right here on this basically graffiti on a wall that's shown after it comes out of the window where Obama is and everything, it shows here, and I've uncovered this, and with the Lord's help, of course. This is really the message here. I'm telling you, it's not Psalm 23. It's not Donald up here, which is part of it. It's multi-layered, really. All this stuff is very multi-layered, but the main message I'm saying is this is Obama. Okay, it says Obama. So basically, right here, O, right here, with a line through it. That's how he signs his name, with an O with a line through it. And I've shown that many times. Then you have a B right here, B, and this is an A. Okay, A right here, pretty obvious. And then M right here, M. Okay. And then this is right here where I'm with my pen. This is a clock, clock hands here. And it's just a little bit after 3, and this is pointing to a 3. And this is where I kind of colored it in here so you can see. So right in the middle of this Obama, and then down here, this is the A. This is the A right here with the kind of thing through it right here. This is the A, and that begins the lightning falling. And again, I'll say it for the 100th time, Barack Obama in Hebrew is Barak Ubama, which means lightning falling from heaven, and that's in Luke 10:18, I believe. Okay, and so that's Obama right here, and then this is after 3 on 6. Let me show this again with this on 6. Okay, there's no reason for this little thing right here to be there. It's not connected to anything else. It's just to complete the 6, and then also make a little cross beam for the A. This is a 6. It's, again, these things are kind of hidden. And 6, this is cut off right here, so we've got the A stops right here, and the 6 is right here, because this thing comes down. This is a 6, and then we have, of course, 2 and 3, and those are more obvious, of course, because it's part of Psalm 23, of course. And Psalm 23 all reference so much to this because after 9/11, Bush quoted Psalm 23, and then I think 10 years later, Barack Obama quoted Psalm 46, which is 23 plus 23. And then later, the next 9/11 memorial that Trump did, he had a story about a lady, and it had 69 in it. And so you have 23 plus 23 is 46 plus 23 is 69, and they're really into 23, 23, and 23, which is 69, which is the portal. Also 23, 23, and 23 are three sets of chromosomes, one from your mother, one from your father, and one from a hybrid sign, like a cybernetic hybrid added to your DNA, which is another strand of DNA, which will also be enhanced by, which I've said long time ago, months and months ago, neural lace. And now it's coming out more about neural lace. And I said a long time ago, so I did a lot of research about neural lace with Elon Musk and his scientists developed neural lace, and it will be injected, and then it will go and wrap around your brain, and then it'll completely tap you into the AI. And that's good. That's the mark, really. It's not a chip or whatever. I mean, it could start as a chip, but it's going to go in and spread, and it basically puts a lace around your brain. And so anyway, that's what the 23, 23, and 23 is also. It is the mark of the beast. It's another set of 23 chromosomes that are technological, that will make everybody distorted and cause them, in a sense, in a really bad form to live forever, but not in a good way. It'll be a very bad form, and maybe kind of like a zombie. And that's why we've had all these zombie movies and TV shows and everything. So anyway, so that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for going from this, a date 623, to another 623, because I believe that is actually showing the time. Otherwise, what does it mean? Okay, so that's what I've been looking for, and I think I might have found the last one. Hopefully, this is the last one. Okay, so again, she drops the apple and it starts to roll. This is the first day. Again, I'll say it again. The apple right here looks like Jupiter. It's got lines, even though it's more red. It has lines like Jupiter. It's got the spot like Jupiter. And Jupiter is what was birthed out of the Virgin on the Revelation 12 sign. And again, I believe that the actual real, and this is where JK and I really diverge, I have presented a lot of evidence that the Revelation 12 sign is completely real, and it did happen on September 23rd, 2017, and he thinks it's all evil or something. And I say that's ridiculous. The constellations, the Mazzaroth was created by God, and it is a story, and it's been dissected and shown that way by a lot of people who've written books, including one of my favorite, E.W. Bullinger, wrote the book Witness of the Stars, and you can look that up, or you can look at it any time. And he basically shows the story about starting from the virgin birth of Jesus, and that's Virgo, which is the zodiac, but it's really the Mazzaroth, and going all the way around all the constellations, all the 12 main constellations, to the last one, which is the Lion of Judah, which Jesus will come back as the Lion of Judah. And which is, the zodiac calls it the lion, Leo, of course, okay? But that's all, and that's, by the way, that's the beginning, the virgin, and the end is the lion, and that's why it's shown in the Revelation 12 sign as a virgin, and then the lion is part of it in the alignment, because that's the beginning and all the way around to the end, and that's why Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the end. Okay, so this is the birth of Jupiter, which also Jupiter was the god Jupiter, which is also Nimrod, which is also Osiris, which is also, all these different gods from these different, cultures and stuff. But it also is, God's original intent is the king planet, or the leadership, the biggest leader, the leader planet, or the king planet. And so that represents the king with a wound in his side or whatever, other things. So this is the first day, because I think this also represents the sun. So it rolls once, it rolls all the way past this 7. Rolls past the 7. So the 7th day rolls past this, which makes it an 8. And I've shared that in my previous video, so I'm not gonna get into all that. So then we're going to the flower. and then that would be the flowering of the Antichrist, or the birth of the Antichrist, okay? And it's touching his foot. When it rolls and hits his foot the first time, it's the eighth roll and hits his foot, Obama's foot right here, which also looks like a submarine, you know, and then these things come out right here, and then it's like the submarine underwater is shooting these torpedoes up, and then there's two submarines over here. This is showing an actual submarine kind of symbolism right here, but these are like little submarine symbolisms here, and they're shooting torpedoes up to hit their target, either in a like underwater like canyon, or like, for example, in the case of Hawaii, the side of the Big Island where the Helena slump is, and where the huge drop off, and right underneath the East Rift Zone, where the chunk of Hawaii will fall into the ocean, cause a mass tsunami on the West Coast. And this is the West Coast because it's touching his foot, and Obama is supposedly from Hawaii. And this is the East Coast, where there'll be two submarines. There just need to be one over here, and these are shooting up, and they meet together. I'm not showing the whole imagery here, but they meet together. This thing is, oh great, this is freaking out. Great. Okay, a little malfunction. Well, I'm trying to move along here. Let me go a little bit faster here. So, basically, so this is the end of basically the birth and the flowering of the Antichrist. So then let me move on. And I said in my last video that these figures right here, this one from this angle looks round, and these are all oval looking. So this is the moon, and then this is the buck moon. This is the buck coming out of the moon, which is July. Okay, and then on the moon, from this, this perspective over here, you can see the 7, but from over here you can see it looks more round like a moon, and that's why this is the buck moon. But on this side, you see the 7 upside down, and I said in one of my last videos that this 7 is these earthquakes that were happening in the land. Basically, that's why this is etched over by Ridgecrest in California, and making a nice 7 there from all the eruptions and everything, thousands of eruptions. It's crazy. So that's in here, and I believe that's what that is. Okay, and so I'm moving on from July 4th and 5th on, and so my last video, you can see the different events that happened to match the Apple roll starting from June 12th. Now we're going to have another 6/12, and that's beginning very soon, that I'm going to show you. Okay, but right now I'm going to continue from 4th and 5th of July, and this is several different timelines of 11s and 8s, and then there's even 7s in here. And I don't know how I'm going to explain this very well, because there's so much more work I could do on this, but I just don't have the time. I'm trying to get this out today. There's so much more I could do with artwork and layout and everything. I used to be a designer and everything. I don't have the time. I literally don't have the time. So I'm moving on. So if you imagine the 4th and 5th of July was Apple falling in, that was a birth. And one more thing I want to mention here. So not only did I say 6, 2, 3 with these figures, again, like I said before, this is 6 right here. It's backwards, and it's kind of light. It's the light, and then the dark is 2 upside down. And this is not doing it justice. I don't know if you can see this thing here, but right here, follow this thing over here. This is a 2 upside down. This is a 3. Okay, this is a 3 right here. This is a 3 backwards and upside down, basically, or you could just say backwards. But basically, this is a 623 as well as these figures, and her being the slash in the middle of the 623. So that's a 623. And by the way, like I said in my last video, July 4th and 5th was a 623. So it is on the Chinese lunar calendar. Well, let me go back over here. Did I have this on here? No, I don't. Oops. So Chinese on the Gregorian is July 4th and 5th. On the Chinese lunar calendar, it's the 6th month, 2nd and 3rd day, which is the 4th and the 5th of July in the Gregorian. Okay, so and that's my last video. Okay, so we had on the 4th and the 5th, we had this 6.4 on the 4th, and then the 5th was a 7.1. Okay, so these are coordinating earthquakes in the same area, basically similar area. And then what's I've noticed a lot is when on a 7, an example of a 7, either a 7th day or a 7th occurrence, there's an 8. And a lot of times on the 8th day or the 8th occurrence, there's a 7 or multiple 7s, or the 7 has an 8 and the 8s have 7s, and the 7s have 7s and the 8 have 8s. They're really into 7s and 8s because those are, 8 is a new beginning, and then they mean this for their Messiah, which is the Antichrist, and then 7 is spiritual perfection, and they mean that for that as well. So there's a lot of numbers that they're repeating a lot, 7s and 8s right now, and some other ones, but those are really big for this timeline here. Okay, so from the 4th and 5th, so basically from the 4th, 8 days later, we had the 4.9. So I'm sorry, 7 days later, because just crossed the 7, and then 7 times 7 is 49, and then they did a 4.9. How cute was that? It's 49, 7 times 7, and then they're going to do something 7 days later so that's the other part of the 7, so 7 7, and they're really hinting at 7 7, and I'm going to tell you why that is. I've been seeing so many 7 7s. So what is that? What is 7 7? Okay, one of the things is 7 times 7, so that's the 49 or 4.9. And then the second 7 was 7 days later. And this is a repetitive thing of 7s now. It started, I believe, on the, let me go back here. It started on the 5th with this, and this 7 ends up being an 8 because the 7 plus 1 is 8. And then we have 7 days later is the 12th, and this is a 7. Oops, sorry, the other way around. Man, I'm not doing that great here. So this is 7 because it's 7 times 7. And then we have an 8 again. So the 7th day from the 7th, or sorry, from July 12th, I don't know what I'm saying here, plus 7 is 19. And then on that day was an earthquake in Greece, okay? And it was a 5.3. 5 plus 3 is 8. I mean, this is also crazy. And I'm probably not describing that great, but hopefully I will over time here. So basically 5.3 is 8. So you have 7s and 8s appearing all over the place. Okay, and by the way, it happened in Greece, and that is coordinating with Apollo, the god Apollo. And then we have the Apollo moon landing I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. And Apollo is Apollyon that's going to come out of the abyss, and CERN's involved and all kinds of stuff. So, this is a nod to Greece and Apollo. There's so much going on here. I'm going to move on here. So then July 13th. So this is basically 12th and 13th is the 7th and 8th day later from the 4th and 5th. So on the 8th day, basically, this is the apple rolling just past this. When it gets to right about here, it completes the C and makes it an 8. And then it hits his foot, Obama's foot right here. It hits his foot on the bottom right here. Okay? And so that has to do with either war, because war is going to cause his birth, or himself, or a submarine, because I said his foot is like a submarine. So here in this case, Hurricane Barry became a hurricane exactly on the 8th day after the 5th. So that's the 8th apple roll that hits his foot. And guess what? It's Hurricane Barry, as in Barry Soetoro, Obama's former name. He's had several former names. One of those is Barry Soetoro. And then also on the 13th, we had New York City. So remember, this is 8 on the 8th day. This is an 8. But guess what? We also have 7s like crazy on this New York City going dark. But New York City was on the 8th day with this apple. Now let me show you the 7s in New York City. They're all over the place. But this is on the 8th day. Like I said, sometimes the 8th is a 7s, and sometimes the 7s are 8s. But they coordinate with each other. And sometimes the 8 is 8, and there's a lot of 8s and 7s going on, and that means we're getting so close, and it's happening far more frequently. Okay, so again, with that New York City going dark and that the blackout happening there, they did a 42-year exactly on the day, July 13th, 42 years ago was the blackout, and they had in this article, 25 hours with looters raiding 1,600 stores. Now again, their numbers have to match what they're trying to say. This is their narrative. This is their hidden agenda in here. So 2 plus 5 is 7. 1 plus 6 is 7. So again, we have 7 7 again. Or, just 7 7. Whatever. 7 7. And then that was 42 years ago in 1977. Again, all these 7s and all these 8s. It's really crazy. Okay? And then that was pointing to they were super close together. They related to each other as far as the blackout that happened in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, or actually all of I think it was pretty much all of Argentina, or most of Argentina, and Uruguay, was a power outage that happened at 7:07 a.m. And then where the shadow was hitting the main obelisk there in Buenos Aires, it formed a shadow that went through the smaller obelisk, through the city, and that made a clock, and it was 707. There's all these 7 sevens, and I'm going to show you what that ultimately means. But again, that was on the 8th day, is these sevens here. It's crazy, okay? Then we have the 13th and 14th, okay? And so that ends the 11 days, and it starts another 11 days. So I think this is actually the final 11 days, the 13th and 14th through the 24th and 25th. Okay, basically. Okay, so, and it drops. Now, is this a 623? It absolutely is. Because right here, now let's look at the Gregorian calendar is the yellow. So we're going to start here with July. Okay. Now remember, we're looking at 13th, 14th. So let's go 13th, 14th. And then now here, in the white here, is the Chinese lunar calendar. So this is the 6th month right here, 6th month. And then right on here, 13th and 14th, is the 11th and 12th. 6th month, 11th and 12th of the Chinese lunar calendar. Now 611 for 11 is also 6-2. And then the year is 2019. So 2 plus 1 plus 9 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's 623. Also, and so 11 is 623. So 11 could be the beginning. And 12 is also 623. How? So 6th month, and then 12 is also, like I said, and I've shared many, many times, a 1 can also can represent a slash in their communication. So 1 is a 1 or a slash or a space. So 6 is a slash, and then 2, and then we have the year again, which 2019 breaks down into 12, which also breaks down again to 3. So we have 6/23. So it's kind of both or either or, because it's over a 2-day period when this attack happens. And I'll explain that more here again, as I've explained like 1,000 times. Okay, so 13th and 14th. Okay, and then we're going to the 21st and 22nd, which is the 8th day. Okay, sorry, the 7th and the 8th day, depending on how you look at it, from what day. So what happened? Well, it was reported on the 21st that Deutsche Bank, the bank with 49 trillion in derivatives exposure, is melting down before our eyes. This is all coming down. This house of cards, financially, geologically, weather, everything is falling down. Everything's getting worse. If you don't see that, if you don't see the tribulations around the corner, if you don't see that we're in the beginning of sorrows, I don't know what to tell you. Whether you're a believer or not unbeliever, you need to wake up. How do you not see this stuff increasing almost daily now? There's so many things happening daily. It's incredible. Now again, remember, this is the 8th day. Okay, so this is it. Apple goes right here, and it completes this with a C. It makes an 8, but then it finishes the roll and hits his foot, which is the 8th day. Like I said. Okay, so then guess what? So we have the 8th day, and then here's 7s again. 7 times 7 is 49. So we have 8s and 7s again. Okay, now what else happened? We had Iran warning, Navy sends nuclear submarine to Gulf after Tehran seizes British oil tankers. So World War III is heating up like crazy. Okay, and then on the 8th day, we have a submarine incident, because here's Barack Obama's foot, which looks like a submarine, and here's the submarine again on the 8th day. So basically, the 8th day after the basically the 8th day is going to be the 21st on this situation, because it actually happened on the 21st, but reported on the 22nd, which is how these things happen a lot. Okay, and then we had on the 22nd yesterday, electromagnetic attack in Venezuela. In fact, the leader of Venezuela basically said that this was an electromagnetic attack. He didn't just say it was power outage. He said that we were attacked. And Venezuela got slammed with no power for a while. You see these people on their cell phones, and there's no power in the city. This is crazy. This is happening more and more. In fact, it just happened in the United States as well. On the, I think it's the 21st through the 22nd, we've had Wisconsin, Michigan, all these different states, basically Virginia, New York, Florida, power outage. All told, over 600,000 people out of power. And of course, they're blaming on some of the heat wave and everything, but it's all planned. This is all these different places. In fact, just today, I think it was Kauai, one of the islands of Hawaii, just all the power went out. And I don't have it on here, but that's another thing. All these places are going to go, the power's going to go out, and it's all predictive programming for finally the United States power going completely off from a massive attack, and other countries as well, like London, Tokyo. London, Japan. Sorry, oh my gosh. As far as countries, now cities, I mean London and Tokyo, but as far as greater in England, and then also Japan, for example, I'm going to get massive power outages as well. So this is all part, predictive programming for these things that are coming. Okay, and then what I'm saying is the 24th and 25th, quite possibly, if this is correct, if my theory is correct, we'll have the mega tsunamis east and west coast, because this is, if it's not, then it's so close. I don't know, and I can't see any other 623, so, but it looks like this matches. And again, this last event where this represents both coasts, two halves of the apple, and one side is representing. They both have the submarines, they both have the tsunamis, but one side is showing a tsunami right here in this sea. In this sea right here, you see the ripples of it. That's a tsunami, and then the other side is representing. Oops, the other side is representing the how the tsunami starts with this Obama's foot looking kind of like a submarine. Okay, that's how this is shown, and I've shown so much more about the apple. The apple is the big apple because it's big in her hands, which is New York, and then on the apple, upside or backwards. I've shown in my previous videos a while back at different times. Hawaii is on the apple upside or backwards, basically. I think it's upside down and backwards actually. And when it splits open, this is a volcano. This is a volcano, and it splits open here, and which causes the volcano to erupt. And these two are little volcanoes right here, almost looking like three-dimensional volcanoes right here, which spew up, which is representing Kilauea or whatever, going off and everything. So there's so much to all this. Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my actual gallery on my phone, because I didn't have time to set all this stuff up on this display here. So, and I'm going to show you the next set of all this different information I have. Okay, I'm back here, and I want to apologize. I'm not completely with it. I guess I'm a little out of it. I'm kind of tired. I'm not speaking the best like I normally do. So please forgive me misspeaking and just kind of stumbling over my words and everything. So I'm actually in a room. It's hot in my room where I'm at. I had the air conditioning going on, but it's so loud. I don't want to risk that you can't really hear me very well. So I turned it off, and now it's hot, and that's distracting me. But anyway, I'm doing what I need to do to get this out, and I'm not going to complain. So I'm just letting you know, I apologize for I'm not speaking the best right now because I'm a little distracted. I'm tired, and I'm just trying to get this out for you, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this at all. It takes a lot of time. So basically from July 25th, I'm going to show you a lot of things that correlate to July 25th, because ultimately, like I said, July 25th, as far as that graffiti on the wall, it's Obama 623 lightning falling from heaven at a little after 3 a.m. So ultimately it's a little after 9 p.m. in Hawaii time. And then 6 hours later, as far as time zones, but at the exact same moment, because it would be the same moment, whether it's a little after 9 p.m. in Hawaii or a little after 3 a.m. on the East Coast. It's the same exact moment, but 6 hours difference in time zones, but same moment. Okay, so the 25th, if you subtract 623 days, again 623, you get November 9th, which is 9/11 backwards. Okay, July 25th minus 293 days, which is how long exactly, is 9 prophetic months and 23 prophetic days. As far as the Revelation 12 sign, Jupiter was in Virgo. If you take that from July 25th, you get October 5th. And that's actually the day that Trump said a storm is coming. Okay, or this is the calm before the storm. Okay, and then we have from February 17, 2018. I'm just going to show how this correlates. This date of July 25th has correlated with more dates in the past that I thought might be events than anything else by far up to this point. It's amazing. It's really crazy. So that shows me even more that this is very much a huge possibility that this will happen then. So February 17th was Winter Storm Noah, which I always believed, since I heard about it, that it was going to point to the actual floods and everything and tsunamis that are coming, because it's Winter Storm Noah, and it was on like in the story of Noah, it was the second. I guess I can't write on this. It was February is the second month, the 17th day, and in the story of Noah, it was during the second month and 17th day of that time of God's calendar or whatever. So this was Hurricane Noah was on the second month, 17th day of the Gregorian calendar, and then anyway, the difference between that and July 25th is 523 days. And I will show you several 523s. In fact, today, as I'm talking right now, is in a sense 523. It's 723, July 23rd. But on the Julian calendar, the original calendar before we switched to the Gregorian, which I think they go by in a lot of ways, it is the fifth month instead of being the seventh month. And the proof of that is that September, which is really seven, is actually on the Gregorian is sept means September, and September is the ninth month on the Gregorian. But on the Julian, it was the seventh month. And so go back 2 more months to July. July is really the fifth month on the Julian calendar. So 523, and 523 will pop up several places. And in fact, I shared which I thought 523 or May 23rd, this last May 23rd might be the attack days might be coming soon because we had those two barges that hit Weber's Falls, and there was so much symbolism in that and that was on 522/523, and there was so much to that. Anyway, and then from April 16th, which was the second day of the Notre Dame fire, to July 25th is exactly 100 days. That's not a coincidence. Okay, that was, by the way, the reason why some of the biggest reasons why I feel like we're so close to this attack day and to the end, because we were in the home stretch on April, May, June were massive things that were in iPad goats. April was the Notre Dame fire, and that's an iPad goat without a doubt. As the Antichrist is being revealed on the boat and his eyes open, the crown relieves his head, and as the cathedral behind him crumbles, and that looked so much like Notre Dame, and in his eyes is fire, and it was on fire. There's so much. May was the birth of Archie, and Archie, by the way, means archer, which is Apollo. Apollo was the archer. So is Artemis. Artemis is also a twin god with Apollo, and that's the hunter. And Apollo was a hunter as well. And they're going to be hunting people that disagree with them and Christians very soon. So the hunt is on very soon. But the ones who are faithful will leave this planet. The bride of Christ is called the remnant. The man-child born into heaven will leave this earth when it's time. And I'm going to explain when that is. And I've explained many times. Watch my video called What's Going to Happen and When. And that's several videos ago, probably 6 or 7, I don't know, something like that. What's going to happen and when. And I'm going to tell you the exact several big things that are going to happen, but I don't have an exact time on those. And I don't even have an exact time now. I'm theorizing. It's my theory that this is the 24th and 25th could be the time. It could even go to the 26th, the 27th, possibly, but this is fitting the numbers the best. Okay, and then May 6th, like I said, birth of Archie, and his name is fraught with comparisons to and his so-called mother, Meghan Markle. Both the baby and her are synonymous with Obama. They have so many things matching Obama. It's crazy, and he's the Antichrist, of course. And then it's 80 days from when Archie was born to July 25th. And like I said, I'm saying July 25th is the birth of the Antichrist, which is another 623, and I'm going to get into that soon. Okay, and that's 80 days, which if you take the zero away, because zeros don't matter in their numerology, it's 8 again. There's another 8. There's 8s and 7s all over the place, and there's 6s and also. Okay, so, and then, and again, that was 80 days. Okay, and then October 3rd, this is crazy. This was that presidential alert, and it was alerting, it was pointing to something. Well, I believe it's pointing to this day, possibly, July 25th, and that was exactly 9 months and 23 days on the Gregorian, which is 296 days. So again, 923. I was told in a dream, 923, America is laid low, and so I've understood that 923 is a time frame from conception to birth, and so I'm saying the conception in this situation. I've showed many conceptions of birth from the Hawaii hurricanes that touched Hawaii, and some that had some big effects on Hawaii. till 9 months and 23 days later, they had some big effects on events that happened 9 months and 23 days later. Okay. And this is one right here that really points to that. The presidential alert, 9 months and 23 days later, is July 25th. Another one. This is crazy. There's so many. The Super Bowl, which had a lot of occultic references. For example, the stadium was a lily that opened up on the top like a flower, and it was a water lily basically, and that's what the creator said it was. So many things with the symbolism of Super Bowl being L3. L3 is LC, like I showed you with the apple. It's LC. It's 12:3, which is Revelation 12 sign, or Revelation 12:3 is when the dragon's revealed. Again, 12:3 has to do with the dragon. And Obama is the dragon. That's why he's shown in iPad Goat. That's why it hits his foot. That's why he's winking and all this stuff that I'm going to show you even more. So from the Super Bowl, which had all kinds of these different occultic things, and it was a massive false flag because how it came down and everything. All big sports are rigged completely. All big national sports are rigged 100%, completely to fit their numbers, to fit what they're trying to say. I've shown it several times, and there's people out there that show all this stuff, and it's unless you believe in massive coincidence after massive coincidence after massive coincidence after massive coincidence, then you don't get it. Okay. So the difference between the Super Bowl and July 25th, 173 days again, that's 5 months and 23 days, which is very crazy. Okay. And something could happen today, the 23rd of July. And I already know one thing happened, and again, that was that power outage in Kauai, in the islands of Hawaii. So, and then from September 23rd, 2015, where Obama met the Pope, so the Antichrist and the false prophet met together to seal the deal for the destruction of America, is what actually happened. The Lord's made it very clear to me. They exchanged gifts, which had to do with that. And then on September 23rd is when they met. And then 1,400 days later, exactly, is July 24th. Again, July 24th, 25th is basically the same moment, but just different time zones, okay? And we have 7 plus 7. There's the 7, again. And that, like I said, that's 7. And we're talking about 7. I'm talking about 888 and 88 and 888 and 7 and 777. And there's so many, and I can't even get into all of them. It's crazy. And then we'll also have from September 24th, the next day, which is when the Pope addressed Congress. And there's a ton of symbolism there. I'm not getting into that. That was a religious leader addressing the non-religious separation of church and state, so-called Congress. Yeah, right. And then 1,400 days later, again, is July 25th. Okay, so it just keeps going and going. And then this is a little side thing for me. Lord made it very clear to my birth date is connected to the birth of the Antichrist in a symbolic way, not in any way else. But May 29th is my birthday, and then to July 25th is 57 days. And again, Barack Obama is still 57. So as long as this holds true, he's still the triple tau. He's 19, 19, and 19, which is 57. The triple tau is the gateway of the different equinoxes. I don't have that in front of me. Many fish has talked about it. Some other people have talked about it. It's the 3 T's on the actual Catholic symbolism of IHS is actually in those letters. IH basically is the portal, and there's 3 T's that make that, and that's the portal. And by the way, that's what, the Pope the Jesuit Pope met with Obama the Antichrist to seal the deal because he is their guy. Okay, and there's another connection I'm going to talk about that I've talked about before, which is to CERN and Obama, or the Norwegian spiral anomaly to Obama as well, which is another connection to the Jesuit-run CERN in Switzerland / France, to the Jesuits and to Obama again. So then we have June 6th. Again, that's when Obama signed the Spotify deal, and Spotify equals 6/6 on June 6th to July 25th is 49 days. And there we go. We have 7 times 7 again. And then we also have 119, which is 9/11 backwards right here. And it just keeps going. Then we have the winter solstice, which is completely pagan. It's a massive pagan rituals that are going on during that time. And there was tons of numbers that equated to 1221 or 1221 and all kinds of stuff From then to there till July 25th, 216 days. And again, to remind you, Barack Obama's birthday, which is August 4th, is 216th day of the year. This stuff just goes and goes, and there's some more. There's so much more. And then we have May 14th, 1948 was the birth of Israel. And how does that coordinate to the birth of the Antichrist? Well, if I'm saying the birth of the Antichrist is again July 25th, 26,004 days. Well, Barack Obama, 2 plus 6 is 8. Oops, I can't write on this. That's right. 2 plus 6 is 8. Okay, so the 26 and the 26,000 is 8. Then we have a 4. 8-4 is August 4th, and that's when Barack Obama's birthday is. So there it is. There's just these little things all over the place, and they add up to a lot. And one thing I want to mention here, too, okay, so July 16th was a day I said, very, very possible attack day, but I said if it's not that, it could be 11 days later or it could be sometime later because there were some big things pointing to that. Well, yeah, there was. There was a buck moon, okay, and even more than that, it was a blood moon, partial blood moon. In fact, that exact configuration of the partial blood moon hasn't happened since 33, what was it, 33 AD, after Jesus was crucified, and there's no other configuration of blood moon since then. This one channel did something on that, and it was just absolutely crazy. But what's crazy about this is this is another way to show you that we're in the time, because the gods events in the sky or in the celestial events that are going on. This is crazy. So from July 16th, by the way, from July 16th to July 24th is 8 days. So, but from July 16th, 88 days earlier is April 19th, which was Passover. And then from Passover, April 19th, to the last blood moon before that was January 21st, which is another 88 days. Did you know that? So we have from January 21st, 88 days later, was April 19th, which was Passover, and then 88 days later from that, it was July 16th, the next blood moon. Okay, and then 8 days later is the 24th/25th, depending on the time zone, like I said, but same moment in time when the attack happens. So that's 888. That's actually 88888. Okay, it's so crazy. They are so signaling this stuff, and I hope you see this, what I'm saying. And then check this out. Another one is May 23rd. There's 523 again. So May 23rd, 2016, when Obama visited one of his last visits to South America before he was out of office. May 23rd, he did his last tango in Buenos Aires. And again, Buenos Aires is where that all the power went off, and those two dates relate as well. But when he was there, that was all for that. And then up to the 25th is 1158 days, which is 3 years, 2 months, and 2 days, was 322, which is Skull and Bones. And there's a lot to that, and I can't get into all that right now. Just too much. Okay, and then we have April 15th, 1865, which was when Lincoln was shot. Okay, and he was shot. It is just crazy. So he was shot then. That was an attack. And then we go to the attack, which causes the birth, possibly July 25th, which is 56,348 days. 5 plus 6 is 11, so just think about 11 by itself. And then this is the separation, this little comma here. And then 3 plus 4 plus 8 is, guess what? It's 7, and 8 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. So imagine 11 and 6, that's upside down and backwards, which is 9/11. Man, this is crazy. Listen, the only way for all these numbers to coordinate with all these different events and all this stuff is if they basically demons knew when this was going to happen, knew when the rapture was going to be, knew when these attacks had to happen to cover up the rapture, to cover up the things that God was doing, to graffiti over them in a sense, or to completely counterfeit what God was doing, and then go backwards from that date and have all these. It's the same thing with technology, the same thing with, literally, are people saying that no one knows the time, and even demons don't, and that Jesus doesn't? That's a silly thing to say. Jesus doesn't know the time. Since he said that, that was in the past, and that was past, present. And then he's now in heaven, and he is going to be coming back, and he doesn't know the time. Yeah, that's very silly. I'm sorry, but that's super, super silly. And the enemy knows it as well. That's why everything's up to this point, and it's going to hit. The Antichrist is going to be completely ready to be revealed at that time. All the technology, the attacks, all this kind of stuff. The mark is ready, but they don't know the time. I mean that's the height of silliness. I mean, I'm sorry, but that makes no sense. And all the numbers I've been showing say the exact opposite. They know the time, and they're working backwards over decades, centuries, millennia. I mean, it's crazy that the enemy, the demons know this, and they work backwards from a time they know. They know that the 6,000-year lease of dominion of man is almost over, and Satan's rule is almost over, and it's going to about to move over into Lord Jesus's rule into the day of the Lord. And Lord Jesus is going to start when that transition happens. He's going to remove his people. He's going to remove the innocent first, then remove his people, and then he's going to start breaking open seals and do what he's doing, and then and then God's going to pull out his wrath. So, and that's in the day of the Lord. That's in 1,000 years, beginning with the 7 years of tribulation. That's right, I said it. 7 years of tribulation. And there's a ton of things that point to 7 and 7 years, not 3.5, not whatever. And that's my opinion, and I could still be wrong about a lot of this stuff. Okay, I'm just saying with some confidence, that's what I've seen, that's what I know, and there you go. So I could be wrong, and I'm just saying it because I'm kind of inspired. I'm just energized right now. So talking about this stuff. Okay. Anyway, let me show this. No, actually, you know what? We're gonna get off this. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next thing here. Okay, again, so this is very quick and dirty, and I'm just trying to get this out to you. I could do a lot more and a lot better and better explanation and all this stuff, and I could wait until I feel better and everything's all perfect and that stuff, but then it might be too late if this is the time. So I'm getting this out to you, and it's just please forgive the quickness and the dirtiness of all this and my speech and everything. So again, it's July. So I talked about the 13th and the 14th, okay, up here, but then the end of it is that it would be the flowering, which is, as I show here, in a yellow, July, and then 24th and 25th in the top yellow up here, which equates to, in the white over here, that's the little gray spot here, circled as the 6th Chinese lunar calendar month, and this 22nd and 23rd. So again, we have 623. And again, like I've said in the past on videos too, I have the 22 and 23. I've had so many experiences with 2223 or 223 as the transition or the transition point or the, what do you call it? Maybe the twilight hour or something like that. I don't know what you call that. Okay, but that's the transition point between those 2 days. And ultimately, the birth is on the 23rd. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to bring some more evidence. Now, I just watched early today, Marfugel last night put up some interesting stuff about some claims that someone said that supposedly worked for the USGS. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but I am saying that what I'm showing you right here is true. They were saying that there's a massive, that the USGS, and they work for the USGS, and they're releasing this out, they're kind of leaking it out, that there is a massive volcano underneath Ridgecrest area where China Lake is and all that stuff, that military installation. And it's massive, and it's supposed to be big. The person said it was bigger than Yellowstone, and then all these earthquakes and stuff, or this thing coming up or something. And there's been apparently Black Hawk helicopters airlifting people from Los Angeles, important people, in the last few days or something. I don't know about any of that stuff. But what he showed here about these water surface elevation changes in Oregon is really crazy. You can go to this link right here. And again, this came from Marfugel News. He's a great source for a lot of different stuff, and he has a lot of connections to a lot of different people as well. That's the biggest thing, a lot of military and stuff. And so go to this link right here. But basically, you can see these tables here, Oregon, of these reservoirs and these dams and stuff. And in the last 7 days, they've gone down by feet. They've been releasing a lot of water, and they're doing that because of the emergency of, the West Coast going off. I mean, somehow, the earthquake and stuff, they know. These people know somehow, and they're trying to relieve the pressure and relieve the stuff here. So this is pretty crazy here. This is real tangible evidence that you can look up yourself and see. Why are they doing this? This is the prime time when they need to have lakes up and full for recreation, for irrigation and all that kind of stuff. There's no way that they'd be, letting all this water on purpose if it's not for safety and stuff. So this is a huge evidence, physical evidence that this is going on right now. And why? Ask yourself why. Okay. Now this is crazy. So remember, if you've seen this about the Invictus Games, this is Prince Harry Nugget. I don't like this guy, Harry Nugget. And then we have Queen Elizabeth Nugget. And they're both acting like pompous nuggets right here. Little pompous nuggets, just talking smack to their American nugget counterparts. Okay, so they're doing this thing about boom and bring in Invictus Games and all that stuff. If you haven't seen this, and this is crazy. So at first, Harry gets a call from FLOTUS, as you can see, First Lady of the United States. And then this is what's going on here. And this is what I think this is saying. So, of course, here's 69. Like I told you, 69 is the portal. It's also Cancer. Cancer, which we're going into right now, we're into right now. We're in Cancer. And by the way, Barack Obama's birthday in 1961, I did the whole thing on that with the stars and everything, and it was Cancer. And then guess what? July 25th is Cancer as well, which Cancer is the crab, which is also 69. It's the portal. Okay, so it makes sense that all this stuff would happen when the portal is open, when Jesus uses the key of David, like it says in the Bible, to open up the portal that no man can open and no man can shut, or no man can shut, and no man can open, that only He can do, right? And He's going to bring up the innocent and then the man-child, which is His body, as the Antichrist is revealed, basically, or just right before the Antichrist is revealed, basically simultaneously. Okay. So here's 69, which represents that. And then we have 1815, which is, of course, 6:15 military time. But it also is 1 plus 8 is 9, and then 1 plus 5 is 6. So that's 69 backwards. So we have a confirmation of that. This is the day of the 69. This is 69 here, 1815. This is 69 as well. So that's the day of, you could look at it maybe, the man-child and then the Antichrist or whatever. I don't know. But it's a confirmation that both are 69. And then check this out. This blew me away when I thought about this. I looked at this recently. So this is an anagram possibly of the day. So you have 2/7/27, and then April is 4. And if you think about it being scrambled, it is 7/24. Very possibly. And guess what? Tomorrow is 7/24 from today is 7/23. And tomorrow is Wednesday, 7/24. Wednesday. See, they put these little things to confirm it, but they're hidden. They're hidden in plain sight. Okay? Right here, I believe this is an anagram. April is 4, so instead of 2/7 and then 4 for April, you have 7/24 as an anagram of the date, and 7/24 is Wednesday. And there's probably more in here that I haven't really, as far as more with these numbers or something too, that besides 69 backwards, but whatever, it doesn't matter to me. To me, it's showing more support of 7/24. By the way, it would say 7/24, not 7/25, because Obama is from Hawaii, and so when the attack happens, it's 7/24 in Hawaii, and it's 7/25 on the East Coast. And he's supposedly, he's not really from Hawaii because his birth certificate is fake. All this stuff's fake. He's a clone. Anyway, he's a composite of different DNA. He has Nephilim DNA from Nimrod. He does have Jewish DNA. He has Syrian DNA, basically, which is from, I think it's actually from Akhenaten's. No, it's actually from Akhenaten's mummy. So he is a clone. He's mostly a clone of Akhenaten. And I've shown that in previous videos. And that's why he has no birth certificate whatsoever. The birth certificate that he's presented, like I've said many times, has been proven false by 2 houses of certification, one in Europe, one in the United States, and they both showed that there's 9 points of forgery on his on this birth certificate. And among other things, he has a false Social Security number that's tied to some dead guy from a long time ago or whatever. I mean, it's proven. It's already proven. But no, the media's never going to share it, really. It's been absolutely proven. Okay? So boom, they're saying boom, boom on this day. Okay? If that's 7/24 and that's what it is, it's a Wednesday, then so be it. Okay, another thing, an iPad goat again. We have Obama. Oh, he's smiling because he knows something you don't know. He's all cutesy and everything. But like I've said before, his tassel, which is ultraviolet, which has a lot of meaning. The purple and the ultraviolet that symbolize him being the Antichrist, which, ultraviolet is light and has a higher vibration and has to do with him receiving the light of Lucifer and everything. But this tassel is touching this right here. And it just hit me today as I'm looking at this. I could not believe it. This is 7 right here, backwards 7. And then this X and this X these are Roman numerals, X, X, which is 20. And then this tongue is a V. It's a thick V, but it's a V. It's not a U. It's got a little bit of a point. It's a V and it's closed right here. So it's a V. So we have 7:25. And then we have these 2 arms and a leg, which is 3 a.m. This is crazy. 7:25, 3 a.m. Like his, the 3 a.m. that's on that graffiti. And it's on the East Coast. This is all about the East Coast because we have the East Coast over here. Oop, I don't have that spot. Anyway, if you can see with this pointer, it's over here. It's over here. The East Coast is over here. The West Coast is not shown. So this is gonna, of course, this would be 7:20. This would be the East Coast date. So that's 7:25 right here. Here's another confirmation of that. Here's Bush looking at this, exactly at this. Now, how do you know? First of all, he's looking at this. Maybe he's looking at something else. Well, this is how you know, and how you know it's looking at 7:25 and 3 a.m. basically. He's looking right here, and he's sharp in the foreground, but in the background, see how blurry this is right here? See how blurry this is right here? Blurry, and he's sharp right here. Well, look, it's blurry, and then it starts to sharpen up right here. Sharpen, super sharp right here. It's sharpening up right here. So he's definitely looking at this, and this is the death of people on 7:25. Very possible here. And then 3 appendages, so 3 a.m. I mean, it makes so much sense to me. So he's looking at the death of people, all these people being killed, and then it's on 7 backwards, 25, and 3 appendages, 3 a.m. Anyway, that's kind of mind-blowing to me. So here we go. Here's Barack Obama. Another thing, I looked at his birth certificate again because there had to be some things in there, and I thought I remember seeing this, and I did. And check it out. So he's born August 4th, 1961 at 7:24. 7:24 is even hidden in the time so-called he was born. He wasn't really even born on the day of that time. Who knows how he was born and how old he really is and all that stuff. There's no evidence of any way that he was born. There's nothing. There's nothing. Okay? So 7:24, that is the East Coast or West Coast, I'm saying. And then PM would be it's going to happen at night, and that confirms what I've been saying. 9 at night, or PM. It's not AM, it's PM. And then 7:24. Can you believe this? I believe it's very possibly right here in front of our faces on this phony birth certificate. By the way, like I've said before, one of the main reasons why this is phony, one of the 9 points of forgery was, for example, this A right here and this A, they're identical. There's no difference in them. And on a real typewriter, if this is really done on a typewriter, every single of the same letter or any other letter would be completely different, like a fingerprint, because they're struck with a finger when they're being typed. And so each strike is unique. No matter what letter, if it's the same letter, different letter, every letter is completely different, and there's no duplicate ever. It's like a fingerprint. And these houses of certification basically said that was 1 out of the 9 that this is fake because this was done by computer. It was not done by a typewriter. All the details of it. It's crazy. Now, listen. This is predictive programming. Deep Impact, for example. There's been a lot of different predictive programming. I'm just going to use this example, this movie, Deep Impact. Meteor hitting the Earth, right? And then causing a tsunami, massive tsunami, which is predictive programming of what is going to happen eventually. New York will be hit by a tsunami, roughly that size, hundreds of feet high. That's coming, okay? Now, what is going on recently? So this was today. Asteroid alert. 3 massive asteroids will fly close to Earth on July 24th. Okay, and here's some details. Asteroid 2019 OD was spotted just 3 weeks back and is expected to hurl past our Earth at 1:31 p.m. UTC. It is 394 feet wide and is traveling at 42,840 miles. By the way, 42, which is, like I mentioned, 42 years ago from the New York going dark, and then 84, which is 8-4, which is August 4th. I mean, this stuff is, these are made up numbers. NASA's not real. Listen, NASA never landed on the moon. I mean, that's insane. If anybody's ever looked at the details about that, I mean, everything falls apart. I mean, I remember when I was a kid watching it, and it looked fake to me. I've always been good at seeing details and things just not making sense, and not, I could see errors and things. It looked so fake, especially when the so-called moonlander shot up into the air. It looked like a model being pulled up by string. I seriously, when I was a kid, I was like, that looks so weird. Like, that doesn't look real. And then later, as an adult, I found out when I really looked into it that almost every aspect of it was all fake, and it was actually shot on the top of Mauna Loa in Hawaii. And it looks the whole look of the top of Mauna Loa volcano looks exactly like the set of what they used for the moon landing. And anyways, I'm not getting into all that. But anyway, it was completely fake. And I also have video of Buzz Aldrin admitting it. He said to a little girl, if you don't know about that, look it up. Buzz Aldrin admits not going to the moon, or admits moon being fake or whatever. And he's talking to a little girl, and he says, we didn't go there. And if we didn't go there, we got to ask why we didn't go there. And so we can fix why we didn't go there, so we can actually go there in a sense, or whatever. It's crazy. And then I've also have video of 2 NASA scientists saying that because of the Van Allen radiation belt, you can't get past. You can't get to the moon. And they're going to neutralize it for the first time, basically. So anyway, I don't understand how anybody can believe that if they actually looked into the facts. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. There's no real credible evidence that we went to the moon. And the reason why we haven't been back, so-called, in 50 years, and one of the people have said they lost the technology. I mean, that is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. No, they can't go back because, the average person could watch them not go, and could take a telescope or, any decent camera and watch that not happen, because they couldn't get there. So the technology is too good right now, and they couldn't dupe anybody anymore because they can't actually get there. So anyway. These 3. There's actually 3 meteors that that are going to go by the Earth. So it's possible that either that 2 of them. They're saying there's 2 other asteroids right here. 2 others. I don't know if you can see right here, but right over here, 2 other asteroids. Sorry, I wish I could change this pointer color, but it's just not available. 2 other asteroids, and then they don't say exactly at what time they're coming in. They just say about the one, which is kind of a weird thing. So just imagine 2 asteroids. One could hit the Pacific, one could hit the Atlantic. And they could just say, "Oh, they hit," and those cause the tsunamis. So those are in the past. I thought those could be the what they blame it on, some kind of natural phenomenon. And what I was seeing in tons of movies and different things is a meteor hitting the water. And we know from the Bible that one for sure will hit land, and wormwood, and then one will hit the water. There's 2 different will hit, but that's not what this is talking about. This is something that'll be later during the tribulation, when God's basically pouring out His wrath and things like that, and we're in the tribulation full on. But these things might be explained by these meteorites that are going to pass by Earth, and they were off on calculations, or they got shifted somehow by something that they didn't know about, and then one hit the Pacific, one hit the thing. And the other explanation is something else, and I'm going to get into that. The other explanation is North Korea. And like I've said many times in the past in my videos, North Korea is all over gematria and stuff with these different events, with these attacks, and it's in Kim Jong-un's in a lot of different things, and North Korea is in a lot of different things. And so look at this is a picture that was taken in and check it out. It's in Pyongyang. Look at the bottom here. August 4th, 2009. August 4th again is Barack Obama's birthday. Here's Barack Obama's birthday again. Barack Obama's birthday again. And are you kidding me? And then check this mural back behind them. You got the sick Podesta here. You got the sick boy Clinton and Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-un's father, psycho dictator dude. All these people here that work for the Clinton administration and stuff in Podesta. And there's a huge mural behind him. And look at this. It's a huge tsunami. And these rock-like things, pillar-like rock things, look like buildings, like New York. And these are hitting there. I mean, this is supposedly, as far as we know, But this picture's been released somehow, and so this is a predictive programming as well to a massive tsunami that hits New York. There's another evidence of a massive tsunami hit New York. I've presented several in my videos. Predictive programming of, mass tsunami hitting New York, movies and media and all kinds of stuff. Okay, now I'm looking at this date. Now check out this date. Now let's say this is a reason. Let's say this is an excuse that it's North Korea did it. Okay, which is very possible, and that could actually escalate World War III completely. More, I think it may be more plausible than meteors, but I'm not going to rule anything out because they can do anything they want to do and blame it on whatever they want, as long as the real people, the Luciferian global elites, don't get the real blame. So from then, August 4th, 2009, okay, to July 25th, I'm saying July 25th is very possible here, 3,643 days, which, check this out, is 9 years, 11 months, and 22 days, which is 9/11 and 11/22, and that's when Kennedy was shot, which is a type of assassination and killing of the Antichrist, and he was a president just like Obama and all this stuff. 11/22, and I've showed in my previous videos 11/22, last 11/22, which is November 22nd, and stuff with that Walmart ad and everything. And 11/22 is big with 11/11/11, and then we have 9/11 here and 11/22, and then we also have right here, we have in months straight out is 119, which is 9/11 backwards. And then 22 is also 11/11. So any way you look at it, this is suspect massively. These dates, I'm telling you, these dates, they correlate to so many different things, and is part of their whole tapestry woven of all their religious BS that is really designed to squelch out God and His truth and put in this new religion of one world government, one world religion, and all this, this Kabbalah stuff, and everything that just basically the worship of Lucifer, the pure doctrine of Lucifer, which is what 33rd degree Mason Albert Pike said to Rossini, Massini, I can't think of his name. But anyway, the pure doctrine of Lucifer is what they're after. They're going to destroy. They're going to destroy socialism, communism. They're going to destroy Christianity on the earth, and they're going to bring forth the pure light of Lucifer. That's what they believe. And then we have this crazy thing of Apollo 11 anniversary from July 16th to July 24th. And again, this is pointing to this time, I'm saying, in my theory here, okay? So again, July 16th was the end of the 88 days from from January 21st blood moon to 88 days from January 21st blood moon to Passover, and then from Passover to July 16th right here, another 88 days, and then from July 16th to July 24th is another 8 days. And they are forecasting this with this Apollo 11. Again, Apollo is Apollyon, which is the archer, which, coordinates with Archie, the royal baby. It's the devil, basically. It's what's let loose out of the pit at this transition time, revealing the Antichrist, Lucifer taking over Barack Obama's body to become the Antichrist and dwelling in his body, and that's all. And so much symbolism, it's ridiculous. And then it goes to eight days until this is the day, I'm saying on the West Coast, Sunday 24th, is because Barack Obama is supposedly from Hawaii again. Okay? There's so much in this. And then we have 1969. Okay? It's 69 again. And then we have 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 is, guess what? 1 plus 9 is 10, which is you reduce down to 1. And then 6 plus 9 is 15. So 1 plus 5 is 6. So you have 1, 1, and 5, which is 7. So there's a 7 again. And then we also have 69, like I said. And then even bigger than that, listen, I'm still talking about this time frame being in the wheat harvest, which is significant for Pentecost. And I believe we're still in contention for Pentecost. In fact, if you take what Leviticus says and go from Passover to basically 7 Sabbaths and then add 50 days, we get all the way to the end of July. So Pentecost is still in play here, very much. And the wheat harvest as well is almost over. And that's as well. And that's huge. And like I've said before, I believe that Pentecost is far more of a contender than almost any other time, because Pentecost, I don't believe, has been fully fulfilled. Because Pentecost, when the apostles were, the Spirit came down on the apostles and they first became born again, I believe that was the conception of the church. It was not the birth, it was the conception. So if you think about it, those first believers were the first cells of the body. And then it took 2,000 years roughly for more cells, more people or cells to be added to the body until finally it's complete and it's a baby and it's going to be born out of in through a portal or through a hole, through a birth canal into heaven, this corruptible put on incorruption and birth into heaven as one man with as the body united to the head, Jesus Christ. It's crazy. And that has not been fulfilled yet. I think we're still on Pentecost. Now, I could be wrong. It still could maybe be Feast of Trumpets, but I think Pentecost is far better argument than anything else because I still believe it has not been fully fulfilled. Because you know what? Jesus is ahead in heaven. His body is on the way. As the Bible says very clearly, he is the head of the body of Christ. It's absolutely true. And when the Pentecost first happened, that was the beginning, the very beginning, which is the conception. The birth has not yet happened. And the birth is explained also, for example, in Isaiah 66, where it says, the birth happens, and then whoever heard of such a thing, that the tribulation or the labor pains would happen after the birth, okay, which is the 7-year tribulation. Okay, that's what, read all of Isaiah 66. It's pretty crazy, and maybe in 67. But anyway, it's crazy. That's the birth, and that's the labor pains. When they shall say, peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them like labor pains upon a pregnant woman, they shall not escape. So, peace and safety, sudden destruction because of and labor pains, bam. Okay, and then, okay, like I said, from 1969 till now is 50 years. Okay, I showed possibly the Hoover Dam breaking at some point on the $50 bill. There's been several 50s I've talked about. And then guess what? There's a reason why they're celebrating 50 years ago was 1969. 50 is Pentecost. Penti means 50. Okay? So that's not a coincidence. So this is an homage basically to Apollo and 69, and hidden in it is Pentecost maybe. This is crazy. Are you following me? I don't know. Hopefully you are. And then check this out. This was, again, about the Apollo 11 moon landing, right? And here's a Google Doodle. Okay, and I immediately saw this because they turn things backwards and upside down. But all I had to do is just do backwards. Sometimes it's just backwards. I'm sorry, upside down. But before I do that, just go to September 23rd. Okay, September 23rd, 2017, which is a Revelation 12 sign. Again, so we have a sign in the heavens till July 20th, 2019. And what was July 20th of 2019? Yes, but July 20th of 1969 was when, guess what? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were on the moon. Neil Armstrong first, and then Buzz Aldrin. Okay, but they were on the moon for about 3 hours, okay, on July 20th, 1969. But if you take that, the Revelation 12 sign, again, this is a celestial event. Supposedly they went into the heavens and went to the moon, right? They didn't, but supposedly, and then this is how it equates. So from September 23rd, 2017 to July 20th, which is equal to July 20th of 1969, is 666 days. And check this out. So we got the Google Doodle commemorating when Neil Armstrong first stepped on the moon, coming out of the lander, basically, whatever. And then check this out. So this is all coincidence? I don't think so. 666 days. Turn that Google Doodle upside down, and you got 666 right here. Right in a Google Doodle, very clear. 666. Right here. 666. And NASA and Google and all that's not evil? Are you kidding me? I mean, literally, the Bible says that the Antichrist and the beast and everything is 666. And why do they have it upside down on a Google Doodle? It's clear as day. This is 666. It's in CERN's logo. It's in Google Chrome's logo is 666 is all over the place. A lot of corporate logos and all kinds of stuff. It's in Obama's logo. Obama with the sun rising in the west. He's the Mahdi, which is the one that rises in the west, and that's was on his logo for his campaign and everything. Are you kidding me? Okay, so another thing. This is the Norwegian spiral anomaly. And this is taken from an actual video that I found a while back. But this is a spiral that actually happened over Norway. Okay, thousands of people saw it. It was on the many news reports. Many people saw it. It's undisputable. It's real. It's on. If you can Google it, Norwegian spiral anomaly, and you can see it and the date and everything. And I have the date here. But so this not even the news about this, but what it was it's called the Norwegian spiral anomaly of 2009. Appeared in the night sky over Norway. It was visible from and photographed from northern Norway and Sweden. The spiral consisted of a blue beam of light with a gray spiral emanating from it, from one end of it. Again, this is undisputed. This is actually real. You can look up a video of Norwegian spiral or Norway spiral or whatever, and you can see this. Now this is absolutely crazy. If you don't know about this, now this was done by CERN. This is an Einstein-Rosen bridge. This is a wormhole. But all the reports and all the Google stuff and everything say spiral anomaly. But there was more that happened, and I'll show you. And I've talked about this before. And then at the exact time, Obama is in Norway. At the exact time this is going on, he's accepting the Nobel Peace Prize, and he did nothing, literally nothing. In fact, after that, he became president, and he basically continued existing wars and started new ones. And later, Nobel Committee wanted to take that from him. They regretted giving it to him because he just continued wars and started new ones. And maybe he was one of the most warring presidents ever, compared to other presidents in the history, because there was more. He started new wars and continued old ones. Very crazy. But let me show you the spiral anomaly. It actually opened up into a wormhole. And that's what they don't talk about. Anything about the Norwegian spiral anomaly or in any news reports that were shown and everything. All they show is this spiral right here. And it was quite perfect and quite crazy. If you've seen any video of it, it's pretty amazing. It is pretty phenomenal. And that was from CERN, a Jesuit run, connected with the Pope and everything. And that's what, which is connected to Obama and everything. They're all, they're all together. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so check this out. So December 9th, 2009. I say 2009 because 2009 is not really correct. 2009 is more correct. Not that I have to be perfect or anything like that, not at all, but I just say it that way. December 9, 2009 to Thursday, July 25th is 3,515 days, which is also 9 years, 7 months, and 16 days, or 9/23. 7 and 16 is 23. But you also see in here 7/16. Ooh, there's 7/16. Plus, it also is equal to 115 months and 16 days. And you also have here 7/16. And what I was just talking about, 7/16 is when Apollo started. And there's things about 7/16. There was the blood moon that happened on 7/16, which was 88 days after Passover. A lot of these things point to other things. It's very crazy. So, anyway, that's what I have to show you at this point. Again, it wasn't perfect, and there's a lot of things I like to show better and everything. I like to be able to draw on this and show you some other things better, but that's my best effort right now with what I have and the time I have. So I hope this means something to you. I hope this is a warning to you. Hopefully, you can get this out to people or share this with people. I just ask you to just ask the Lord what to do with this. If you know Him, if you don't, then ask the Lord into your heart. I beg you to ask the Lord into your heart. He is your only Savior out of what's coming. And the craziness that's happening right now, almost at a daily basis, pretty much on a daily basis right now, it's going faster and faster and faster and faster, bigger events and bigger events and bigger events. And it's really crazy. If you don't know this stuff, you need to look into it. It is going at breakneck speed right now. And if this is not the time, it's so soon. It's ridiculous. We're getting so close. Everything's pointing to what's coming. And the things I'm saying, these are going to have these two massive tsunamis that are going to hit both coasts. And then maybe a day or two later, we're going to have a mass nuclear attack. And that's what I believe IPAC Ghost shows. I think that's some other things show. And so we have very little time before this happens very soon, whatever the time is. Again, this is my theory so far. Take it how you want. It's up to you. So I'm going to leave it at that. And God bless you. Jesus is the only way to get out of this mess. I guarantee you. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.